Hey guys, how's it going? Day 3 on the kids being at home, and I think today's gone a little bit smoother. So I decided that I needed to do some DIY projects because it feels like it has been forever since I have done anything other than a sale. And that's mainly because I've been moving the shop, and so I have had basically my workrooms have been jam-packed full of smalls, and I've been trying to get the barn done and things moved and blah blah blah, and it just hasn't happened. But slowly you can actually walk in the workroom, so I thought I would try to share a little bit today. So I opened up already this hemp oil, and I'm glad I did because it literally took me 5 minutes to open the darn thing, because it's getting all crusty here, and it's one of those that you have to push and turn. So you can see my bottle here has seen better days, because this is the second time that I have had extreme difficulties getting the darn lid off of it. So one, I need to put it in a different jar where I don't have to do this, or two, jerry rig some lid, I don't know, pour it in something else. So this is Miss Mustard Seed Milk Paint Hemp Oil. I've used it on wood, and I've done a few videos using it on wood. And today I'm going to use it on this rusty, crusty scale. And of course, this one has a decently big hole, but it had tons of mud dauber nests up in it. So I worked really hard on breaking all of those up and trying to get those out. Then I have another one here. This one doesn't have the top, and I don't know if you could just hear that, but there's still stuff rolling around in it. And when I post this video on YouTube, I will attach me getting videos of me getting the dirt out, or trying to, because literally I have to try and get all the dirt out of that little hole, and then these little side cracks. It's darn near impossible. I tried the shop vac, I've jammed up the screwdriver in there, and I just keep shaking and moving it around. So there's still something in there. Eventually, hopefully I will get that out. So I'm gonna lower the camera here so that you can see what I'm doing. So I can't remember exactly if I posted something about rusted metal, and I don't really remember. One girl suggested using hemp oil, and I honestly have never used hemp oil. I have used WD-40 before, and I like using it. It does, when you go back and touch it, if it's not a super clean surface, it still is pretty gritty, but you can seal over it, or, you know, when you put something into a display, you're not touching it all the time if it's just decor. So for me, it didn't matter too much. And I love the way that WD-40 smells. So that's normally what I use, but this follower said I think that they use hemp oil and really like it. And I've used hemp oil on wood to rehydrate things, and it does work really well. And you can tell that it's really made a difference on this piece. Hopefully on the camera you can see, I couldn't even have told you if there was any numbers on this when we first started, and I had cleaned it. I took a toothbrush. This is another thing that you'll see in the YouTube video. I had taken a toothbrush to it, another brush, a rag, the shop vac to it, and really tried to clean the scale before we got started. So I would probably take a Q-tip, I don't have one, or a cotton swab, and jam it down in there to kind of get that surface a little bit better. But I don't have one here right close. So all I'm just using, this is obviously just a chunk of a towel. So whenever you're at auctions and you buy a box lot and you basically get 100 things and you really only wanted one, that is when you get some extra towels and linens, and then you can use them for your rags. Or we also use a lot of times all of the kids' mismatched socks. So you can see that it's making quite a bit of difference. You can also tell that it's still dirty. So it's not like we're not also rubbing off some dirt. So if I had just put water on the scale, sorry that it's shaking. If I had just put water on the scale, some of this might have popped through. That's one of the ways when you're out, like at a flea market, it's nice to either carry around a washcloth, not a washcloth, but like a Clorox wipe, or you just spit on it. Spit on something, and I know that's gross and lots of germs, but if you spit on it, then it's just like putting water on it, or carry around a water bottle. And then you can kind of have an idea on if there is, you know, any kind of advertising or writing that you're going to reveal, either from putting hemp oil on, or you can do polyurethane. Sometimes polyurethane will just automatically make things pop as well. This is a pretty light colored piece originally, I would say. And I have long fingernails, so I really just use my fingernails to get into all of these crevices. But you could wrap your rag around a screwdriver to get in all the little nicks and grooves. Because sometimes like a cotton swab is just not hard enough and it doesn't allow you to apply any pressure. Does it stay shiny? Susan, this is literally the first time that I have used hemp oil on a piece of metal. On a piece of wood, it stays that color because it hydrates the wood. So a lot of times you would put like if you were gonna redo a cutting board or something, you would put some hemp oil on it and then you let it soak a little bit and it'll soak in. And then you come back and you put another layer of hemp oil on that wood cutting board, and then you rub off the excess, whatever doesn't soak in. And so that keeps the look. With the WD-40, it does keep the look too. So I'm going to assume that it does, but we'll find out. I'll post some pictures tomorrow, or I'll at least take pictures tomorrow so that we can see if it has an impact. I don't think it has anything to soak into, so I can't imagine it really changing too much. And then you can polyurethane it if you want. You can leave it. Not sure if I'm hitting the top of it where there's actually hemp oil still on the rag or not, but a back and forth technique like you're flossing your teeth is always a good technique to use. So I would probably tip this over, make sure I had good light, and really examine it before I called it a day. But we'll see here what the top looks like. Sometimes the top of these scales have patterns on them as well. I don't think this one does. But you can see that it darkens, and then you can see where there's no hemp oil getting to it, And then that's when I'm going to use my fingernail and try and get down in that groove. I like to use the hemp oil sparingly, whether it's on wood or a different surface. My hands are dirty from cleaning, but I would say it has it feels really good. So it should probably stay just how it is. Okay, so let's set that one off to the side. I'll just scoot over a little bit. We'll try this other one and see what it does. It kind of looks on the top like maybe it was white to start with. Stand up again. And you can always paint a scale too, which that's been on my to-do list for a while as well. I have one of those family kitchen scales that is white, and then the face of it has the food, and it just looks newer, and I don't necessarily like the face of the scale. So I have had in my mind that I would go through and paint the face. So maybe that will be one of our projects here. So right now I've got the kids creating their own YouTube video, so I'm excited to see how those come along. Part of their learning at school projects. So if you're just joining us, there's still some mud dauber nest here in the bottom that I'm gonna need to try and get out of that little hole. After about a half an hour doing it, I just couldn't handle messing with it anymore. I was getting too frustrated. This one kind of looks like somebody either splattered some red paint on it by accident. But I would say this one was originally white. So this one, there's not quite as much of a big transformation because on this other one, we couldn't see any writing, but it's definitely brightening it up. Let's see, can you suggest something to clean brass that has got gold, old sediment on it from previous cleaning? Well, Kara, I don't clean brass very much, honestly, so I can't give you a good idea. Brasso is something that people have recommended before for myself. And I can't remember if I used Brasso. I think I used Brasso, and it freaking stinks. I thought it did a good job, but it's just really, really stinky. Like WD-40, I like the smell of that, so I like using it. The Brasso was disgusting. But another one that I've heard of that I don't use, but lots of guys that collect signs use Barkeeper's Friend, and I think you can use that on brass as well. So Brasso and Barkeeper's Friend would be my only suggestions, and I have not, Barkeeper's Friend I've never used, I just know a lot of people that have. And Brasso I would say works well, but it just stinks. Okay, so you know what I didn't do while we've been doing all of this? Which is typical. I didn't take a before and after. Well, I didn't take a before, I can take an after. So that was my bad. Still gonna take some work to get the dirt out of this one. But I would say that our Hemp oil is definitely an option for cleaning your metal and livening it up and helping you see all of the different details that we didn't see before that. So hopefully that helps you. You can buy this online. Miss Mustard Seed has her own website, and I'm sure there's a lot of other retailers where you can get it as well. So hemp oil, and you can get it other places as well. So have a great day, guys.